What's going on, Taurus? Welcome to your burning question reading. It's been a while, so I thought, you know what? Why don't we do one? Why don't we do another one? This question is, what do I need to nurture? Now, we have a pretty good idea usually, but so this isn't to answer the obvious questions. This is just to take a look at the energy of what we can cultivate and what might be working for us given all of the energies afloat right now. So, let's dive in. I would like to invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space, and I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we've got. Spirit, what messages do you have for Taurus for these burning questions, please? These burning questions. I'm hearing the Super Mario theme song, like with no segue or context, but like the OG Super Mario from like Super Mario World and Super Nintendo. Yeah, I don't know. And now I'm hearing a level up sound. So maybe there's like nurturing some energy in service to your leveling up. But okay, so this energy is wild. It was like hearing the song and then seeing in the original one from like the Nintendo, like the older console that I grew up with. Um, yes, I use moisturizer. I'm an elder millennial. It's fine. But when Mario jumps to the flag and then goes down like that song, yeah. Anyways. So there could be something that you're feeling a little victorious over, or that you are actually victorious over. Like that could be a vibe for you right now. Knight of Wands, yeah, kind of taking on a little bit of the world here. This is so you're embracing more stability for yourself. And interesting. So releasing Three of Pentacles, I get the impression that you could be releasing there could be feedback that like there could be, I'm hearing too many cooks in the kitchen, like there could be too much noise, and this does show up in more of a tutelage perspective, but this could be also just this could also be a like a sense of like if you could teach this class, you're getting feedback from someone for a class that you could be teaching. And it's not a literal class. It's just the context of the card here to help you understand how this energy was coming through. So it's almost like needing to release that. And then the story of the light is this devil energy. It's like making decisions about which voices to trust, like what feedback to trust, right? So this was the release. So releasing this this could be a call to do more solo work, but this could also be a call to get really clear about which voices have your highest and best good in mind, right? And that could be what is needing to be embraced here, because this is the stability, right? And the devil card is not stability. This isn't stable. These are stories that sort of run afoul of yourself in your mind. Like these are, this is a lack of confidence. Even this could be because that showed up in the Aries reading. So that could be this here, but this could also just be like embracing. With this here, it's like embracing stability, and devil energy isn't the most stable because it requires your instability in order to function. That's kind of how it thrives, right? And that's why these chains are around their necks. That's the hallmark of, really toxic relationships, is that there's an instability to them. There's an instability. Yeah, there's an instability here. And I think that might be why you're showing up in this to know right now as the Knight of Wands, because the Knight of Wands is like a very fast moving energy. So you're like, to hell or high water, this is happening. But like, why are you in this energy, right? And that's where this, like the light comes from, I think, releasing this sort of devil energy. And this isn't so much obsession, but this is like when there's always a fire under your ass. It gets hot, number one. Number two, that's not a stable energy, because it means that you never get to just rest. You never get to, experience what like like I want to say like a bit of boringness, if that boringness, I don't know, but you know what I mean? Like there's the stability is missing. So the ordinary moments you end up missing because you're constantly rushing past them, rushing through them, rushing to them, rushing. Like there's this like get up and go. Like I'm almost hearing like a trumpet, like a battle trumpet. But that's where it's like it could be these could be voices of the Three of Pentacles is like it tends to be collaboration and creative collaboration at that, but this could be also like energies of feedback coming from those things or stories that you've told yourself based on previous experiences with collaborating with others. That and I think it's just an energy of it could be also energies that you put faith in what people told you and they didn't have your best interests in mind. Not only that, but they were giving you feedback in this kind of energy, 555 on the time. So it could be, again, this could be the shift out of that energy and moving into something else. I don't know why I'm shuffling this deck again because I'm not pulling from it. Spirit, can you please clarify this for Taurus? Yeah, I feel like you're just wanting a little stability, perhaps a little comfort, because these are very hard-edged energies, right? These are not like, this is not let me give you a hug, like energies. These are not energies of like, how was your day, right? That's this energy here. Like, how was your day? Come here, curl up with me. I just want to talk to you about today. And I just, I've missed you. Like those tender hearted things that we say to people who mean a lot to us, it's really difficult. Like this almost reminds me. So they did a study called the ACE study, which is the Adverse Childhood Experiences study. And it looks at, how trauma can manifest in children who have really tough childhoods. I was obviously interested in it because that's what I experienced. So they looked at all these different statistics and whatnot. And this reminds me a little bit of that, like this adverse childhood experience. Like it's like you become this energy where you just rush and charge into things because you have to, because that's like, it's like an armor in a way, but it's also just like a way of doing things. And the Knight of Wands gets a rap as like a player energy often, but in this instance, I'm seeing it almost like as a response that you've had and like, you don't need it. And I think that's the other storyline happening with the chains here. You don't need it and you recognize that. So like regardless of how you've done things before to achieve things, you're really starting to understand like that the Four of Wands is what you're really wanting, right? You're really wanting the stability. So what you need to nurture is the energy of the stability. What does stability feel like, right? I had to do that work. I had to take that journey. I had to take that journey and understand what it was about this Four of Wands energy that appealed to me. What does stability feel like? How does it sound in conversation at the end of the day, right? What does it sound like in the morning? What does it sound like when you're in conflict, when you're fighting, right? Because fights happen, right? What does it sound like that? What does it sound like when you get kind of crappy feedback from a boss? Because you need to be held to, like they're holding the light for you to see yourself. So like, what does that feel like? And instead of being in this Knight of Wands energy of like, oh, I'm just going to charge forward and fix it. It's like slow your roll, right? So I feel like this is a bit of what we need to nurture here, Taurus, I think, is the right voices, number one. Number two, yourself, because being in that energy is very like charge forward, rush right on through. And I think the Four of Wands is like, this is nurturing what stability means to you, right? Again, we all have to go through this and figure it out for ourselves. This isn't something, you can't just read a book on it, right? Like I read a lot of books, and I can tell you that it didn't come from there. That knowledge and awareness doesn't come from books. So that's like the baseline that we're starting with here, Taurus. So like nurturing that energy, nurturing stability, nurturing commitment, because that's sort of when you align with that frequency, what happens is you start to call that to you, right? And what does ease in relationships feel like? What does ease at work feel like? What does ease in your friendships feel like? Because that too is this Knight of Wands. It sort of counters that, right? Because if all you've done is be in this Knight of Wands energy, or if it's very familiar because of a period in your life where that's all that you had to like rush through and charge through and just get shit done. I get it. Like I've been there. But it's like there needs to be a new thing that's being written here. And I think the energies are supporting that with this new moon as well. I mean, there's more releasing energy that you might feel around this, but I think that this is not so much a release as it is just an awareness of how you've been with an eye for the intention you want to set to go forward. And that's why this Four of Wands is very important in this spread. I get the impression too that this is like a commitment energy, possibly long-term commitment in terms of a relationship or a job. And this could be the stability that you're looking for, right? You're looking for stability in all these different places, but my darling, it's going to come from within you. It's going to come from within you. Yeah. Like you want the stability and you are moving towards it, but this is the awareness that you need to have. I'm going to put these here because that's really, really, really lovely. And then the Ace of Pentacles was underneath that. Yeah, this is like the new stuff that's coming to you because of energies and efforts that you're putting in right now. Eight of Cups, strength. Yeah, this is like, it's been a journey. Like, I feel like this has been a trek for you. Wow. I'm pulling all of these. Oh my gosh, this is getting so long. So we have the Eight of Cups. So clarifying these two beautiful energies here, moving forward, moving on. This could be something to do with family because the Chariot is Cancerian energy, which is the fourth house, and that represents more ancestral connected or ancestrally connected. Tends to be some mother energy more than anything else. I've experienced the 10th house as more father energy. But that's just how I've, how I've experienced it. 11 on the time. But so it could be something to do with that. But then this 10 of Pentacles here is, I think this is really beautiful energy in terms of what you're understanding and realizing and now moving forward on. Because this is like a different energy, right? This is a very different kind of momentum. The Knight of Wands charges forward pretty solo. The Chariot is among friends. The Chariot commands respect and attention, and not attention in terms of like, drama and, like it's a parade and we're looking like it's not like that. This is the Knight of Wands is showing up in an energy of like, I have to do it regardless and I'm just going to get it done in the fastest, most efficient way possible. And I'm going to do it quickly because I just need to get it over with. The Chariot is more of an energy of long-term investment momentum. And that's what I'm getting with this here, right? Yeah. And that's, again, it's like this movement away from things that kind of disrupted or took you away from yourself, like your confidence, your sense of yourself. And that's the Strength card is Leo energy, which is fifth house energy. So that's more of like fun, pleasure, like, it's also like, it's the house of like sex, but non-committal. Like it's like, I don't know. It's like, consensual non-monogamy, like promiscuity, but it's not like in a negative energy. Cause again, my channel is a sex positive space. So this isn't, I'm not judging anybody. Right. It's like, if you consent, you are free to do whatever you want that makes you happy. Right. As long as you don't hurt anybody, but that's like, that's that energy. So it's almost like you're moving away from what you recognize are like, and this strikes me as like temporary pleasures right now in this particular spread. It's not what Leo represents nor the fifth house, but in this particular spread, it's showing up in that vibe, right? So it's like, you need to be seen for yourself. And there's a way that you've been kind of wrestling with these different parts of yourself on the journey. Yeah, it's like wrestling with these different parts of yourself because it's like you've had this internal Knight of Wands that's just like run to put out the fire somewhere, right? So, and the way, so something's coming to mind. My very dear uncle, we found out this week that he's a bit he's sick, and so one of the things that he would say to me about people who drive like the Knight of Wands might, and this isn't, I'm not making a comment about bad drivers. I'm just saying some people are very, like they like speed. They like to weave and not use turn signals and things like that. And when I would be driving with him, he's like, oh, look, someone that needs to be the first one to the scene of the accident. And, that's not to wish accidents upon anyone, but this is to say that's the Knight of Wands energy is like, you just have to get to where you're going. And like, you don't realize where you're going because you're kind of disconnected from the environment is what that is meant to say. But I feel like that's kind of the energy of this. And then this is you saying, whoa, 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 we're slowing down here for a second. This is Virgo and sixth house energy. So it's like, this strikes me as something that's beneficial for your health. Number one. Number two, this also strikes me as something where you're releasing a bit of frustration, and I'm hearing blood pressure. So it could be something to do with blood pressure. Like it's like a blood pressure reducing situation or something that's going to give you a lot of reprieve. Right. I'm hearing Epsom salt bath because I was looking at this and thinking about burning, like muscles burning, like when you're working out and then, your muscles are growing and developing. It's like the burn of them when you hit your threshold. It's that kind of wisdom. But the interesting thing is that going from this Knight of Wands to the Ten of Wands, it's like a releasing of all of that frustration. It's a releasing of that need to move with like a burn, to burn through things. And I feel like you were burning through yourself maybe more than you realize, Taurus. So I think that the energy that we're nurturing, this is the embracing energy, that's stability. King of Cups, yeah, Eight of Swords, Two of Pentacles, Emperor, yeah, Nine of Cups. I can't make this up. I was only going to put 4 cards down, but then I was like, nah, I'm going to follow the breadcrumb trail. And then it ends on the Four of Wands. Are you kidding me? This is where it's like, I feel like there was something to do with emotions. Aries had the same thing-ish. Is something to do with emotions right now that you couldn't really see. And it's not about not seeing your emotions or not feeling them, because I get the impression that you're in touch with your emotions, but I feel like you were trying to decide about how to move through them and how to show others them, right? How to show them to others in ways that were healthy to you and healthy for you. It could have been, with the Eight of Swords, I'm thinking there could have been some aspect of like counseling that you sought out or that you're seeking out to help that process, or books that are really, impactful and positively impactful at that. And the reason why I'm talking about it being seen here is because these are cards of being seen, right? The Emperor is seen. The Emperor shares. The Emperor is kind of an expansion card in a way. Slow expansion, intentional expansion, yes, but still a bit of an expansion because you're integrating the lessons of all 4 kings, right? And then the Nine of Cups here is this personal emotional fulfillment. So it's like leaning more towards emotional fulfillment. So I feel like that's sort of the story here. Is it's a lot to do with your emotions and nurturing space for you to feel how you need to feel, perhaps about being in this Knight of Wands energy for so long, right? Especially because the ACE study came to mind when I saw that, the Adverse Childhood Experiences study. A couple books were written about it that were phenomenal. I can't remember the titles, but I do remember the covers. Visual person more than anything. But I see that there's a stability here, and that's the big message that I feel like Spirit is saying right now. Needing to nurture that stability for yourself, because this is the energy that you want to show up in, right? This could be the energy. This is also possibly reflective of the sort of, I'm hearing an emotional map, right? An emotional map of how you felt inside, was not sure about how you feel, didn't trust your emotions completely. This is like having, if you've been in relationships or situations where people gaslit you out of your emotions or manipulated you or things like that, you will not trust yourself. You just won't, right? It's a journey. You have to take the journey through, speaking from experience, where you have to learn to trust yourself again. And trusting yourself isn't just about trusting that you're capable and confident. It's also trusting that how you feel not just matters, it matters, but it also informs you about what is good and what is not good for you, right? And it's like leaning into that energy I'm getting here. Because again, the Knight of Wands in this context, it's like we're going into the story of the Knight of Wands here. But this Emperor, this is Aries energy, so Aries in first house. But that's where you're ending up. Like you're ending up in this very confident energy. The Emperor is a confident, is a very commanding energy, right? It's decisive, it's established, and you get to those places because you've befriended your emotions. Not just that, you've befriended your emotions, yes, but you've also prioritized stability by prioritizing yourself. And that's the message of the Emperor here too, right? So I think that it's nurturing the space for you to do that. You're prioritizing yourself, Taurus, right? The Emperor is also like the, pejorative boss up card. Yeah, there's the Moon and the Knight of Pentacles. Oh my gosh. It's the stuff that's coming to you that you can't see, right? You can't see. And that struck me as more of an awareness and an epiphany. 3 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, the Fool, 2 of Swords, Page of Wands. Yeah. And the Knight of Wands. Oh, I only wanted to put out 4 cards and I ended up pulling them because I was like, well, this is a really good story. I see how this is playing out. Yes, yes. And then it's like the doubles are showing up. So on the 3 of Pentacles, we have the 6 of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, and the Fool. And I think that I almost get that this is like you're understanding what is your truth. This is like wisdom dispensed. This is like the charitable giving card, but this is also giving and receiving spiritual wisdom. So I get the impression that there was possibly a truth that you took on that really wasn't given to you. Like this is also, I mean, in the reverse, the way I see it, the way it's coming through, which is a bit icky. So I'm very sorry if this has been the energy you're in, my friends. But this is like someone taking pity on you, and like it made you think that the pity was your truth, like that it reflected that you are someone to take pity on, that you are pitiful, Taurus, and that's just not the truth. That's just not the truth. The Fool is reflective of having more faith in yourself, not just to take leaps, but it's also leaps and bounds from this energy here away when you connect to the truth, which is that you are not someone who's pitiful. You're not someone who people give to because it's like some kind of, charitable case. And that's where it's like, maybe that's why you couldn't trust your emotions and you couldn't trust yourself, right? And, sometimes people get into a giving place where they give, but it has this weird string to it. And if you're in that place for too long or around those people for too long, because you're in this Knight of Wands and not nurturing your emotions and not nurturing yourself, you can really get into that place where anything will feel good. Like anything that people give you, any warmth, right? That's, you see it with, I mean, when I was in my teens, that's what it felt like sometimes. Like, and it was just, I wish that I could, go back and give myself a literal hug and just say like, it'll get better, sweetheart. Like it will get better. So it's, if you're in that energy where it's like, oh, anything will feel good. So you take feedback from just anybody, pause that, because there's truth here that you're needing to pay attention to that truth big time. And that's where it's like, you need to understand it's like little truths, but they're going to pull you out of this place of feeling like you don't have the answers, because you do have the answers. And I think that the Knight of Wands is here to tell me that, because this is like the integration and the healing of this particular story, right? This is the release. Like this is what you're releasing. You're releasing what led to the Knight of Wands here. And like when people give from that place, it can feel so gross because you feel like you're more of a token. It's just, and it can feel challenging, right? Because it's, and it's not all giving is going to feel like that, but, I think it's about understanding and honoring yourself. I say it a lot, and I've said it a lot lately. Yeah, the Devil, 5 of Cups. This is like how the light gets in. It's like letting go of that story. The Devil card represents, obsession, but it can also represent stories we tell ourselves over and over that disconnect us from our truth. 2-2-2-2 on the time. So I think that this is part of the story of that for you, is letting that go and grieving. Let yourself grieve it, but remember that there's 2 cups here for you, my darlings. Like 2 cups. Taurus, 2, not like that's, I mean, if you're polyamorous, they're more than that. This is representative of fulfillment more, right? So it's kind of about counting your blessings after situations that have been tough. And do you see that? That's the 7 of Swords that wanted to pop out. Yeah, it's like counting your blessings after situations that have been really tough, and looking for the silver linings, because they are there. And situations that are hard, we choose what to do with them after the fact, right? But give yourself comfort in the interim. So I think that's kind of how the light's getting in here. Yeah, 6 of Wands. There's a victory. There's a success with that Hanged Man and Ace of Wands. Yeah. That's how the new inspiration is showing up. What you need to nurture is you need to nurture that sense of stability. Because I think that stability is going to be connected to a stronger sense of self, because you have to really feel like you deserve stability in order to attract it, right? Because you're going to attract people, relationships, situations, work, you name it, just situations that align with and that resonate with your primary idea about yourself, your primary the creative idea from which you operate on a regular basis. So if your creative idea, and this is like reflecting on that, this is the energy of reflecting on it to heal it, right? Reflecting on it to see it really clearly. Because when you do that, I think there's forward momentum. The 6 of Swords on the bottom, there's forward healing momentum. And I think that it was reflective here, like the need to know, the Chariot is here. So I think that there is that forward movement towards this 10 of Pentacles. But I think that this might be the first time, I don't know who I'm talking to here, but I don't think it's the first time, but I think that this is like, the kind of stability that you thought maybe was inaccessible to you, there's a good balance because of like the between major and minor arcana here. And I mean, even the elements themselves, like there's a good balance. So it's really, I think that it's sort of like the storyline is what's healing more. So nurturing stability for yourself, Taurus, because you deserve it. You deserve peace. You deserve peace. I think about peace in relationships in terms of like, being in relationships with people and not having to guess whether they are interested, or not having to guess. And not just that, but like I was driving home today and I was thinking about this in terms of like, flirtation and being flirty and everything. It's fun when you're like single to an extent, but then you realize and ask yourself too, like, well, if this person's really flirtatious and like this beforehand, like what happens when the relationship starts, and how are they going to handle conversations about like, hey, that makes me feel really, uneasy or whatever, and like what context is it okay, and like it's just stuff like that, like navigating those conversations. And I don't know why that's coming out on the stability. I was looking at it here because it strikes me more as a marriage card here. Here, not as much like a coming together and a stability, yes, but this is more like a marriage card, and that's where I was looking at that, thinking about that. But it's like that sort of energy of like things being easy, and not easy as in like no hardship, but easy just in like there's a sense of ease about it because you're in your power. I didn't see the Hierophant come out here, but I feel like there's an element of you being in your power, Taurus. Time for a love fest. Yeah. And maybe you got to love on yourself a little bit, Taurus. Maybe you got to love on you. There isn't a soul on the planet who doesn't crave your approval. The only difference between a friend and a foe is that you've decided where love can grow. Yeah. I get the impression here from this that to me says that, like you're more integral to things than you might think. The Knight of Wands is a very solo energy. It's like, I'm going to get it done. I'd rather get it done myself than worry about it not being done perfectly. Like, don't be in that energy. It will burn you out. It will deplete you faster than you can imagine, right? So, and it's also just super disconnected. Like, it's very isolated and lonely. It's lonely. I was the Knight of Wands kid. Like, it's very lonely, Taurus. It's very lonely. But you're showing up here in this Hermit and Emperor energy. That's pretty good. Oh, I guess I have to read the right side, right? I make decisions from a place of intuition and power. Yeah, that's the key. This is being in that kind of rushing around energy of the Knight of Wands is very much an energy of not having the time to be to ask and go within, right? And it's very disconnected from your power. Because you can't know your power when you're always on the run. In order to awaken the world to the light, I must not be afraid to shine. And sometimes that can be this energy too, right? You got to heal this part. You got to heal the part that's been fearful of it, because if you shine, then it means, then you might have to, face these things here with the story of the Knight of Wands, right? The story of the Knight of Wands and how they got that way. So, Taurus, this was your reading. So you're nurturing, your message, your big theme here is to nurture some stability for yourself, whatever that means. It could mean just investing in friendships or prioritizing friendships that equally prioritize you. It could be, ceasing to overgive. It could also just be giving yourself a break and letting yourself imagine what stability might feel like for you, right? It's a tough thing when you have very little frame of reference, but it's not impossible. So that is your message, Taurus. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated at all, please like and subscribe. I'd love to have you on the channel. And I'm just really grateful that you're here. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You can connect with me in other ways, but if this is where we part, Taurus, I hope that wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, it finds you very, very well. Take care, my darlings, and have a lovely week.